As we work towards our goal of achieving 100% digital accessibility at KCC, one of our biggest challenges is those pesky PDFs. For many years, PDFs were the preferred format for documents that were to be shared electronically. In fact, PDF stands for Portable Document Format, and that was one of the benefits of this type of file. It was easily portable from one device to another. Unfortunately, PDFs are notoriously inaccessible. Additionally, if you have PDFs that were made by scanning or photographing a document and then saving it as a PDF, it will be incredibly difficult or even impossible to remediate it for accessibility. This means that going forward, you should definitely avoid scanning documents to share with your class electronically. I know that for many of us, we have relied on that scanning technique for years, if not decades. I know I did, but unfortunately, it is no longer considered acceptable due to inaccessibility. Additionally, if you're creating PDFs in programs such as Adobe Acrobat or Foxit PDF Editor, or if you're saving Word files as PDFs, there are some additional steps you'll need to take to ensure accessibility, and we'll cover those steps in a different video. Many of us use digital materials in our classes that were created by professional educational services such as textbook companies and other online training organizations that work closely with colleges and universities. Luckily, most of them seem to have realized that they are going to start losing contracts if they don't make their digital content accessible. This means that new editions of online materials are coming out in accessible formats, which is fantastic news because we can't really go in and make changes to copyrighted materials. So definitely keep an eye out for new editions of content and update your courses with that content when it becomes available. Let's take a look at some steps for remediating PDFs and examine what works and what doesn't. Here are 3 images of PDFs that I used in my previous life as an English as a second language instructor. The first PDF was downloaded from an academic database of peer-reviewed journals. Not only is it hosted online at a reputable location, but it is clear and easy to view. This next PDF is of the scanned first chapter of a textbook. I used to scan the first chapter of our textbooks so students who hadn't yet gotten the material could still access it. However, you might notice that if we zoom in, the text is pretty blurry and there are some marks on the page. Lastly, this PDF was created by taking a picture of a book with my cell phone and pasting the image into Word and then saving the Word file as a PDF. You can see that the text is somewhat blurred, the white pages of the book are shown in gray, and the lines are warped. Of these 3 texts, which do you think is the most likely to be accessible? Well, let's take a look at Canvas and see what the accessibility checkers have to say about these files. You might have assumed that the journal article would be accessible based on how it looks and its origin. However, it received a 0% accessibility score, as did the other 2 files. Now, let's see what kind of remediation we can perform on these files. Again, think about this for a second. Which do you think will be the easiest to fix? Let's start by working on the journal article. To remediate this file, click on the red pentagon icon. Move your mouse over the words Accessibility Report and click on View. Here we can see that the major issue facing this file is that it is untagged. Tags are essentially invisible labels inside a PDF that explain the structure of a document to computers and to assistive technology. Whether you need a screen reader to read a PDF to you, or you just want the ability to search for a specific topic within a file, it must be tagged for these tools to work. Let's see if we can tag this. You can start either by clicking on Retag or on Fix Issue. Let's click on Retag and then Apply Changes and see what happens. Depending on the size needed, repairs, and traffic in the system, your fixes might appear within seconds or it might take minutes. Please be patient. As you can see, the accessibility of this document has increased from 0% to 52%. There are quite a few minor issues remaining. Let's see if we can fix them. We'll start with the first one by clicking on the Fix Issue button. The first issue is that we need to set the language of the file. After I do this, I click Add Fix. The next issue is to verify reading order. Simply check the box. Since there are multiple incidences of this issue, I'm going to select the Add the change to all instances of this issue box as well, and then click Add Fix. Next, we're brought to an image that lacks alt text. Enter the alt text and click Add Fix. The next item is also an image that needs alt text. As it is a complicated image, I can click on Generate and have Panorama generate the alt text for me. Now I'm going to click on Add Fix and Proceed to Review. Click Apply Fixes and wait for the document to update. It is now at 87% accessibility. While it's not perfect, it is much more accessible than it initially was at 0%. Now let's take a look at what happens when we try this process with the other poorer quality PDFs. Let's start with the scanned textbook and begin the same way we did before, clicking on the red pentagon icon and then clicking on View under Accessibility Report. While the previous file had major and minor issues, this one has severe issues, namely that the document is scanned. As before, we can start either with Retag or with Fix Issue. Let's start with Fix Issue this time. Since the document is scanned, we will want to OCR it. OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition. If we attempt to OCR a scanned file, the software, Panorama in this case, will attempt to pull the text from the document and recreate it as searchable and accessible. Please read the differences between overlaid and reconstructed OCR and choose the one that will work best for your content. For this file, I'm going to choose Reconstructed and then click on Add Fix and Proceed to Review. Then click on Apply Fixes and wait. As you can see, OCRing the file brought it up to 65% accessibility. Let's see what else we can do here. Again, let's start by clicking Fix Issue. It says that the document does not have a title. Now, don't be confused by the fact that we can clearly see the title of What is Critical Reading at the top of the page. Panorama is looking for a tagged title in the file's invisible properties. You can use the same title here as exists on the actual page. Then, click Add Fix and Proceed to Review, followed by Apply Fixes. Can you believe this brought it up to 97% accessibility? Lastly, let's look at our final sample PDF. Again, we'll begin by clicking Fix Issue. Yet again, we have scanned content that needs OCRing. Again, I'm going to select Reconstructed and then click Add Fix and Proceed to Review, followed by Apply Fixes. On the one hand, we can see that OCRing this file brought it up to 55% accessibility. Not great, but a lot better than 0%. On the other hand, the file's formatting is pretty terrible. We may not be able to fully remediate this one. I'm going to try clicking on the Launch button next to Structural Remediation to see if there's anything there that can help. I asked it to retag the file, but this actually brought the accessibility score down to 50% and didn't do anything about its appearance. There probably isn't any hope for this file, but let's try adding a title to it and see if that helps. Adding a tagged title to this file's properties did bring its accessibility score up to 70%, but it did nothing about the file's structure and appearance. I don't know about you, but I would not give this file to my students. Given the size of this file and the length of time I spent on unsuccessful remediation, it would have been faster for me to recreate this file as an accessible one simply by retyping it either in Word or directly into Canvas. I hope this video has given you an idea of what kinds of PDF content can and cannot be successfully remediated, which items are worth attempting to remediate, and which you should probably discard or simply recreate from scratch. I know working with PDF remediation can be time-consuming and frustrating, so if you need any help, please reach out to the CTL at ctlsupport@klamathcc.edu, by phone at 541-880-2374, or just stop by Building 3, Room 350. We look forward to helping you.